price isn't the only thing to look at in an offer. In this video, I'm going to explain to you what other things you want to look for.
I'm Dan Ginader, a real estate agent with Weichert Realtors. Real estate can be confusing, but I can assist you. So let's chat for a few minutes about Orlando real estate.
Hey, I'm Dan Ginader. I'm a real estate agent with Weichert Realtors Hallmark Properties in Orlando, Winter Park, Florida. So you get that call from your real estate agent, you have multiple offers. You pick the highest one, right? It's obvious. Not really. Here are some other things that you want to consider when looking at all the offers that you've gotten. Is it a cash offer or a financed offer, meaning somebody's getting a mortgage? So with a cash offer, there's just less red tape. You don't have to get an appraisal and different things like that. And sometimes you can close earlier than you would with a mortgage. With a mortgage, you have to go through a whole process and you have to worry about if that person is actually going to be able to get the loan. Cash offers are usually a pretty solid deal because the money's already in the bank. Are there any contingencies on the offer? So for instance, does the buyer need to sell their home before they can buy your home? And is the deal contingent on that? And if that's the case, where are they in the process? Have they already put the home on the market? Do they have a contract? Is it about to close? What's the deal? So you really want to find out what's going on with any of the contingencies that you might have on the contract. Is the buyer flexible? So for instance, let's say you're also buying a home. Can you extend the closing date if something happens on your deal that you're buying? Maybe your buyer is in the same situation, right? Where they're selling their home, then they're going to get into this home. And, it's that whole cyclical thing, right? So there's not going to be much flexibility there. But for instance, if someone is living with family or something like that, they can probably extend the close date a little bit and be a little more flexible. So that's something to think of if you're in that situation. If the buyer is getting a mortgage, are they well qualified? So what you'll want to do is have your real estate agent call the mortgage company and just have a conversation and figure out, they can't tell you all the details and say, okay, this is how much money they have in their bank account, blah, blah, and this is their credit score. They can't tell you all that stuff. But you can sometimes get a good idea of where they're at and how well qualified they are. How much money is being put into escrow? So the escrow is your deposit that a buyer puts down on your home to show that they're serious about buying it. Typically, it's 1 to 2% of the purchase price if they're getting a mortgage. If they're buying with cash, sometimes the escrow deposit is a little bit more. It can be up to about 10%. So sometimes if someone's putting a good amount of money down in escrow, that means that they're really serious. They want to make sure that nothing happens in that deal where it goes south and they lose that deposit. Another thing you'll want to have your agent do is figure out, is the buyer motivated? You'd be surprised. Most people are pretty serious when they go shopping for a home, but there are some people who are kind of waffly about it. And they're like, well, let's put an offer in, see if we get it. And then they get it. And then it's like, oh, do we really want this or not? It doesn't happen all the time, but it does happen. So you want to have your agent talk to the buyer's agent and figure out what that backstory is. How long have they been looking for a home? What is their situation? Are they really motivated to buy? If you have any comments or questions, please leave them in the comments section below, or feel free to call, text me, email me, whatever works best for you. All of my contact information is in the description. If you got some value from this video, please comment and like. It really helps the channel. And if you haven't already, hit subscribe. Thanks for watching.